I am a hobbit from the...
I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Let's not do that.
So we choose Gollum as a main character because he is one of the most complex characters in the book. One of the things that fascinated us about Gollum was the fact that he has his two personalities that are constantly talking to each other.
One half is driven, just focused on the ring, and the other half is just like, I just want to reconnect and try to like find somebody like me. Just like showing this split persona in the environments, in the story, in the art is the most fascinating thing, I think.
Our Gollum looks very different from the movies. We wanted to find a version of Gollum would still match the imaginations of the fans. So we're kind of still in the same line of those concepts that movies also used, but still giving it our own spin.
I think Gollum has the best potential to give this insight into this world. You have the non-classical ways to discover the world. You're crawling through the shadows, you're climbing a lot, you are traveling through the levels in a different ways than other characters would. His abilities to walk or to run are maybe beyond what we would expect with characters.
It's a hard character to understand. You kind of have to throw away everything you know about writing when you write for Gollum, because he does everything that you learn as a writer not to do. So he constantly talks about his feelings, he constantly repeats himself, he uses the same very non-descriptive adjectives, everything is either nasty or nice.
I mean, the most fascinating thing about the main character with Gollum is his personal development and his like split persona.
And that was also a great tool for us for the storytelling. The scenes in the movies or in the book where they both fight with each other. You can be the player and lead these discussions.
Good morning. My name is Gollum. I'm very pleased to meet you. Yes, indeed. Oh, yes, we are.
Well, the great thing about Gollum is, you know, he's like a maelstrom of mixed emotions and different character traits, and there are two sides to his personality. Gollum really reveals himself very much when he's talking with Smeagol, you know, so I tried to make the difference in the voices quite clear. It's quite a demanding role to play, both vocally, physically as well. Gollum is a very kind of strained, stressed being, and I think to play that, you know, you have to be, you know, strained and stressed as a performer.
Deagle!
And it was Deagle who found the ring.
No, it was ours. It was our birthday present. It was.
Another lie.
I really wanted to push on the gas on some of the acting and some of the mood from the Gollum character, because he's the star of the game. He's the star of the story, and he's basically two of them, so there is plenty to use from him.
Gnaws iron, bites steel, grinds hard stones to kneel. So shiny, yes, so beautiful. My precious.
The darkness grows beyond our borders. My people are growing anxious. We cannot let this evil linger among us, Gandalf.
The Dark Lord, what did you tell him?
Nothing. We swears.
The Lord sent me, his emissary, to oversee matters in person. The creature, bring it back. Kill it, if need be.
We must find help. He mustn't see us. No, not him. Don't be scared.
Daedalic, since it was founded 15 years ago, has always specialized on storytelling games. And so we had a lot of experience with characters that were a little bit, and stories that were a little bit out of the box. And what we wanted to do with Gollum as well is to add a story in the Tolkien universe and make this a narrative-driven game.
Look at me. They brought you to him, didn't they? The Dark Lord. What did you tell him? What did you tell Sauron?
Before we started with the writing process, we did, of course, a lot of research. We read the books, we watched the movies, and read Tolkien's notes that he left about the story and about his writing process and his letters and all we could get our hands on, basically. When we started, I fancied myself a Tolkien expert, but I quickly learned that there was just so much that I didn't know. We're working together with another Tolkien expert as well, who's been studying this for his whole life, basically. And I was surprised how much there's still to learn about the story.
I think the main focus for Gollum was the story, which is the main thing that keeps you playing, because we tell a story that wasn't told before.
The backstory of Gollum is in a lot of ways still a mystery. So there are many open questions and many things that Tolkien himself didn't answer. So we had to fill in the gaps and really try to interpret those notes and integrate them into our story and make sure that we are in line with what Tolkien wrote, but still add our own version. So it was quite fun to find out what happens. So it's our Tolkien himself he saw himself as a historian who finds out what happened in the past in that world that he created. So that's kind of what we did as well. So we start the game about 8 years before the War of the Ring starts, parallel to the first half of the Fellowship of the Ring, when Frodo is still in the Shire and basically doesn't know about anything.
My favorite part of in the development process when it comes to art is showing places that we've never seen before. It's like, for example, the inside of Sauron's tower, like the inside of Barad-dûr. The first half of the game is basically taking place there and really finding a visual style for this gigantic hive of creatures, like how they are living there and how they are working there, ruled by fear and all the time death everywhere. That was the most fun part. We expanded the lore a bit with a few new characters. For example, we are showing evil humans a lot, like humans that are working as spies for Sauron, or even working in the tower next to the orcs and next to all the other monstrosities. We're even showing a character that grew up inside the Dark Tower.
I'm sure for whoever is looking to hear more about characters that look very interesting on the surface, but didn't get that much space into the official lore already created, will find some new content to fill in those gaps to justify the character's existence into the story.
In the end, we do all of this for the fans, and we want to make them happy. We want to make us happy, of course, and hope that the fans like it as well. That's what we do this for.
See us, precious. They'll find us. They'll see us. Nasty, filthy oxes! Kill them! No, we must hide! We can't let them get their nasty, filthy hands on our precious!
We designed the game especially around Gollum. What could Gollum do? We didn't make a design and then put Gollum on it.
Stealth video games live and die by level design. To make an interesting stealth game, you have to have some verticality. So the player is able to sit on top of a tree, scout some guards where they're walking and where they're running and so on.
We used Gollum's agility in the game for big gaps where Gollum needs to jump over, and no orc could do this. On the other hand, Gollum is a more tiny character and he can squeeze through tunnels, so the player actually can think, okay, I am in control of Gollum and I can reach it, but none other can. You can use several ways to make progress throughout the game. On the one hand, you could climb throughout a difficult place where orcs might guard, or you can stay at the ground and sneak through them while using several environmental aspects. So when I started to work on a level, our lead game designer gave me some sort of buzzwords. One of the buzzwords were narrow space and disorientation. So I needed to create a place in the blockout that feels uncomfortable. And when I finished the blockout, I also needed to test the blockout. Is it fun? It was difficult to think about the difficulty ramping. So I needed to make a level that is very, very easy for all the beginners, so that every player can actually learn all the mechanics. And on the other hand, I needed to go to, at the end of the level, at the end of the game, and created levels that are very, very difficult.
I mainly worked on the Barad-dûr part of the game, so where a lot of orcs are, but later I also worked on a level in the Elven Realms, which I had a lot of fun with because another game designer worked on it before, so I could bring a lot of freshness into the level and iterate on the work that was done before me. So it was really fresh to dive into a new environment, like different challenges in building levels, because the Elven Realms do a lot with nature, so I had to also think of how would that turn out in the nature. So how would I build a cave, how do I build a forest? It's just beautiful.
Most fun was actually to create a vertical labyrinth inside of a tree. The blockout needed to give the feeling of, okay, you are already inside of a tree, even if this doesn't look like a tree. Working with the setting of the Elven Kingdom, it was great, yeah. There are differences between level sizes. So we have, for example, very, very small levels where we set a focus to tell the story of Gollum in our game. On the other hand, we have really big levels that have a more focus on parkour.
It's not encouraged that you kill enemies, because if they see you, you're most likely dead. So you try to avoid everything and solve everything like a puzzle. Don't try to be too aggressive. There are some environmental puzzles which are very calm and you have no stress, but there are also like boss puzzles where you have boss-like encounters where you have to find out how to solve it. We also have some encounters with famous characters where we have to use all those abilities to escape.
Shadows. Get to higher ground.
Think of Lord of the Rings music as big orchestral music, and we didn't want to make it that way. We wanted to make it sound special and a little bit awkward too.
Talking about this job for the big Lord of the Rings theme is making me afraid. I'm like, oh God, no way, I can't do this. Too many big people dealt with this theme. And the only solution that I have, Milan have, and we all had is forget about it. Let's tell a good story, and this play for me is a good story.
Pretty fast we knew that we didn't want to copy something from the past on sound, nothing like that. We just wanted to make our own style. The music that is in the game is very organic. We used a lot of violin, viola, clarinet, bass clarinet, baritone, saxophone and flute. Also percussion.
The figure of Gollum inspired me to play the violin with a lot of pressure on the string to describe the pressure inside of his figure.
Gollum is a little bit angry, he's sad also. Smeagol, on the other hand, is melancholic and frightened, and we had to combine it, or wanted to combine it into the music, so you get this feeling of the character.
This interaction between the listener and me as a musician, arranger, composer is very, very interesting, because normally I do music for films or radio or theater pieces, and you are always in the line of the time and telling a story, but this time the player is part of the composition and he decides where my composition is going.
The music is very interactive because we are working with this sound engine who is capable of choosing the music interactive with the player. If you sneak around, there's sneaking music, the same theme. If Gollum gets spotted by a guard or something, the music changes immediately with it. From the beginning, we planned these different locations. We said, okay, this theme is Barad-dûr, this theme is Thranduil inside, Thranduil outside, Mirkwood, and the Gollum theme. We know the story about Barad-dûr. It's an awful place to be. We need the mood, like Gollum has to escape. He's a prisoner and wants to get out there, and it's horrific.
When we talk about the soundscape of metal and darkness, I have my strings, which are made of metal, of course, but if you play them in a certain way, you will feel the heart attack and harsh noise. And if we add a lot of these violence, it's a massive sound wall that is closely connected to the dark side of this play.
I think Tillman said with the elves, his briefing was it should be very far away, beautiful music with harp and stuff like that, but it's far away because it's the past. The present, where Gollum is in this world, he wants to get out, he doesn't like the sun. I have to combine it with this beautiful and terrible at the same time, have this little uncomfortable feeling in it.
Into the flame!
A creature the Dark Lord himself has touched and tortured. What did the Dark Lord want from him?
Don't tell them, precious!
You are my monster now, and monsters don't make friends.
There is no hope for him, I feel. The creature is lost.
Cruel orcs, cruel men. What has Smeagol ever done to them?